2025 has already delivered some of the most startling revelations about unidentified submersible objects, USOs, ever made public. On January 24th, Congress held a disclosure hearing where officials admitted under oath that unknown craft were being tracked under our oceans. On August 26th, a Navy officer gave sworn testimony about underwater encounters he personally witnessed. And in the Caribbean this year, shocking orb-shaped footage surfaced, an object glowing and moving impossibly beneath the sea. 3 events, one chilling theme. We're no longer asking if the unknown is in our skies and seas, we're asking what it wants. As one Navy officer put it bluntly, these things aren't supposed to exist, and yet we keep seeing them. The January 24th, 2025 Congressional disclosure. The year began with a bombshell that few could have predicted. On January 24th, 2025, Congress convened a highly unusual disclosure session, not about UFOs, which have become almost routine topics in recent years, but about something far stranger, USOs, or Unidentified Submerged Objects. This subtle but significant shift marked the first time in American history that lawmakers openly discussed mysteries of the deep rather than just the skies. The session brought in a panel of Navy officials, oceanographers, and representatives from the intelligence community. What they revealed stunned the room. For decades, military sensors and classified sonar arrays had been tracking unknown objects beneath the world's oceans. These weren't simple anomalies or radar glitches. The data showed craft moving with precision, darting through crushing depths at speeds far beyond anything human engineering has ever achieved. Unlike submarines, which groan under pressure and move with deliberate slowness, these USOs accelerated, stopped, and changed direction in ways that seemed to defy physics. During the questioning period, one congressman finally asked the question hanging in everyone's mind. Are these adversarial technologies or something else entirely?
If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
The answer, delivered carefully but with unmistakable weight, was chilling in its vagueness. We don't have evidence they belong to any nation on Earth. That single statement echoed across the chamber like a thunderclap. It wasn't confirmation of extraterrestrials, but it was the closest admission yet that something non-human might be operating beneath our oceans. For the public, it was a revelation. The mystery isn't just above us in the skies, it may be hiding all around us, in the vast, uncharted depths of the seas. The August 26, 2025 Navy testimony. 8 months after Congress's disclosure session, the mystery deepened. On August 26, 2025, a decorated Navy officer stepped forward with his sworn testimony, breaking a silence that had lasted decades within the armed forces. His words carried the weight of both duty and personal disbelief as he described an encounter that blurred the line between military routine and the unknown. The officer recounted a mission from 2023, one that began like countless others. Calm seas, routine sonar sweeps, a ship moving on schedule. But then, operators detected something impossible. Deep beneath the vessel, a contact appeared on sonar, an object moving at speeds exceeding 300 knots underwater. To put that in perspective, no submarine on Earth, not American, Russian, or Chinese, has ever approached such velocity. Submarines struggle to maintain stealth even at a fraction of that speed, yet this object cut through the depths effortlessly, as though drag and pressure were irrelevant. The crew tracked the anomaly as it closed in, tension rising with every passing second. Then came the moment that transformed confusion into awe. Sailors topside reported a luminous sphere emerging from the ocean, glowing with an otherworldly light. It hovered silently above the waves for several seconds before accelerating skyward and vanishing into the night. "We were trained to track submarines," the officer told Congress, his voice steady but his eyes betraying the memory. "This wasn't a submarine. It wasn't anything we knew." His testimony electrified the hearing room. This was no abstract debate or classified report. It was lived experience, a confrontation with a phenomenon beyond human technology. For the first time, the seas themselves seemed to testify. The Caribbean Sea Orb footage. If testimony stirred curiosity, the footage ignited fascination. In mid-2025, a team of divers in the Caribbean Sea recorded something unlike anything previously captured on camera. The high-resolution video showed a glowing, orb-like object suspended beneath the waves. At first glance, it resembled a trick of the light or some kind of marine bioluminescence. But within seconds, its movements made it clear. This was no natural phenomenon. The orb hovered silently in the water column, its surface radiating a soft blue glow that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Each pulse illuminated the surrounding water, casting eerie shadows across coral and rock. Then, without warning, it shifted direction. Not slowly, not like a drifting current, but with instant precision. It moved sideways, then upward, then back down, all without displacing so much as a ripple. No bubbles, no turbulence, no disturbance of the sea around it. To seasoned divers, it was the most unnerving detail of all. When the divers resurfaced and shared the video, analysts scrutinized it frame by frame. Experts confirmed there were no signs of digital manipulation, no edits, no trick of light that could account for the object's behavior. What the camera had captured was genuine and unexplainable. One diver later admitted in an interview, "It felt like it was watching us, not just floating, not just moving, it was aware, like we were the ones under observation." For the public, the footage became proof that the stories weren't just hearsay, that something tangible was being seen and recorded. But for officials and scientists, it was something else entirely, another puzzle piece in a growing mystery, one that was becoming harder, perhaps impossible to contain. Key takeaway number 1, the seas hold the secrets. The first and most striking lesson from these disclosures is simple, but profound. The oceans are where the real mysteries live. For decades, popular imagination has pointed our eyes skyward, toward stars, toward flying saucers, toward lights in the night sky. But the evidence now suggests that we may have been looking in the wrong direction. If there is a frontier of the unknown pressing against our understanding, it isn't above us, it's beneath us. Over 70% of our planet is covered in water, yet despite centuries of exploration and the most advanced naval technologies, less than 20% of the seafloor has been mapped in any detail. Entire mountain ranges lie hidden under the waves. Trenches deeper than Everest plunge into blackness we can scarcely imagine. These aren't just uncharted regions, they are whole worlds within our world, untouched, unseen, and for the most part, unexplored. If advanced objects, whether human-made or not, wanted to remain unseen, the deep sea offers the perfect sanctuary. Unlike the skies, crowded with satellites and radar, the oceans are vast and silent, with monitoring limited to narrow corridors of strategic interest. In other words, there are countless blind spots where something could move, hide, and operate indefinitely. The recent disclosures do more than hint at the possibility. They confirm what researchers and naval officers have long suspected, that the seas may be even more mysterious than the skies. Perhaps the greatest secrets of our planet aren't waiting for us in space, but lurking silently in the depths, hidden in the blue expanse we thought we already knew. A pattern of encounters. The 2025 reports don't exist in a vacuum. Instead, they fit into a much larger puzzle, a repeating pattern of encounters that stretches back decades. To anyone following this phenomenon, the testimonies and footage of recent years are not shocking outliers, but the continuation of a long and consistent story. One of the earliest and most famous incidents occurred in 1967 off the coast of Nova Scotia, in the small fishing village of Shag Harbor. Multiple witnesses, including local fishermen, airline pilots, and even Canadian military officials, reported glowing craft descending rapidly from the sky and plunging into the sea. Rescue crews rushed to the site expecting to find wreckage, but no debris was ever recovered. Instead, naval divers reported strange lights still moving beneath the waves, objects that appeared to maneuver deliberately before vanishing into the depths. The case remains officially unsolved to this day. Fast forward nearly 4 decades to 2004, when pilots from the USS Nimitz carrier strike group encountered what would later be known as the Tic Tac objects. These craft displayed flight characteristics far beyond anything known. instantaneous acceleration, sharp turns at hypersonic speeds, and, most disturbingly, seamless transitions from air to water. Pilots watched as the objects darted into the ocean without creating a splash, as if the boundary between sea and sky meant nothing to them. These aren't isolated stories. They suggest a continuity across time, geography, and technology. As one researcher put it succinctly, it's not that these things visit the ocean might be where they come from. Key takeaway number 2, the technology defies us. Across all 3 disclosures of 2025, the Congressional session, the sworn Navy testimony, and the Caribbean Orb footage, one of them stands out above everything else. The technology on display doesn't just challenge us, it defies us. By every available measure, these objects break the rules of physics as we know them. The Navy testimony alone described an object moving underwater at over 300 knots. To put that in context, the fastest nuclear-powered submarines on record max out at roughly 40 knots. Push them beyond that, and they risk catastrophic failure from pressure and drag. Yet the unidentified craft cut through the depths at nearly 10 times that speed, without leaving behind the roaring cavitation trails submariners know all too well. No bubbles, no turbulence, just silence. Then there is the seamless transition between water and air. Submarines require surfacing, aircraft carriers require launch systems, and drones require specialized designs for each environment. These objects, by contrast, move from ocean to sky without hesitation, as if no barrier exists between the two. Military analysts have been careful with their words, but even in restraint, the implication is staggering. As one Navy officer admitted under questioning, if it's ours, it's 100 years ahead. If it's not ours, then the question becomes, whose is it? That unanswered question hangs over every disclosure. If the technology is foreign, it suggests a leap so vast it borders on science fiction. And if it isn't foreign, then we are staring into something wholly outside the realm of human invention. The public reaction. By late summer of 2025, the story was no longer confined to congressional hearings or classified briefings. It had burst into the open, and the public reaction was immediate and electric. After the Navy testimony in August and the release of the Caribbean Orb footage, social media erupted with debate. Millions of people weighed in, each with their own theory. Was this proof of alien technology? A glimpse of some secret superweapon program decades ahead of anything we know, or simply natural phenomena that science has yet to explain? What made this moment different was the tone. For the first time, the subject didn't feel like the stuff of fringe conspiracy boards or late-night talk radio. It felt serious, urgent, and perhaps most importantly, mainstream. Newsrooms that once dismissed these topics with smirks were now running sober coverage. Panels of retired admirals and physicists debated openly on primetime television. Academic forums published white papers on the potential implications for oceanography, aerospace engineering, and even planetary science. On the cultural side, memes spread like wildfire, some poking fun at glowing sea orbs, others nervously joking that the oceans were about to get new landlords. Late-night hosts cracked jokes, while documentaries fast-tracked production schedules to ride the wave of curiosity. Yet beneath the humor and speculation, a shift was undeniable. One journalist captured it perfectly. For the first time, it doesn't feel like a fringe topic. It feels mainstream. The oceans, long ignored in public imagination, had suddenly become the center of the most explosive mystery of the decade. Key takeaway number 3. Disclosure is a process, not an event. The third great lesson from 2025 is subtle, but crucial. Disclosure is not a single dramatic moment. It isn't a president at a podium revealing the ultimate truth, nor a spaceship landing on the White House lawn. Instead, disclosure is a process, a slow drip of information that gradually shifts what the public considers possible. January brought the Congressional admission. The Navy and intelligence community publicly acknowledged that unidentified craft have been tracked underwater for decades. That moment cracked the door open. Then August delivered sworn testimony from a Navy officer, describing a first-hand encounter that transformed the abstract into lived experience. And finally, the Caribbean Orb footage put images to words, providing undeniable visual evidence. Each of these moments added another piece to the puzzle. Alone, they might have been dismissed. Together, they begin to form a picture. What makes this process powerful is its cumulative effect. With each disclosure, the unthinkable becomes a little more plausible, the impossible a little harder to ignore. A subject once relegated to science fiction and tabloid headlines is steadily being reframed as a matter of national security, scientific curiosity, and public concern. One congressman, speaking candidly off camera, summed it up with striking honesty. The real story isn't what they've told us, it's what they still haven't. That, perhaps, is the clearest truth of all. What we've seen so far, the hearings, the testimony, the footage, may not be the final reveal. They are simply the opening chapters of a much larger disclosure still unfolding, one revelation at a time. Why this matters? So why do these 2025 USO reports matter? Why do congressional hearings, sworn Navy testimony, and diver footage carry such weight? The answer lies not only in what was revealed, but in what it represents. For the first time in history, credible institutions, the Navy, intelligence agencies, and elected officials are re-acknowledging that something unknown is operating within our oceans. That alone is unprecedented. These reports confirm a shift in perspective. For decades, the unknown has been framed as an aerial mystery. Lights in the sky, fast-moving objects tracked on radar. But the 2025 disclosures show that the enigma extends far deeper. The oceans, long considered remote and empty, are now revealed as domains where advanced technology we cannot reproduce or explain, moves freely without our permission or control. And then there is the matter of admission. This is not rumor, not secondhand anecdotes whispered in obscurity. This is testimony delivered under oath, supported by sensor data and corroborated by footage. It has moved the subject from the margins of speculation to the center of official record. The difference cannot be overstated. Skeptics argue that unknown does not equal otherworldly. They are correct, but the significance remains. Either some nation has developed technology a century ahead of our own and is operating it undetected in international waters, or something entirely beyond us is present here, sharing the planet. This is why it matters. Not because it proves one theory or another, but because it forces us to face the possibility that the world is not fully under our understanding or our control. From congressional halls in January to Navy testimony in August, to Caribbean waters glowing with unexplained orbs, the 2025 USO reports may mark the year humanity finally takes the ocean mystery seriously. As the Navy officer said under oath, the sea has secrets, and they're not ours. So what do you think? Are USOs advanced human tech, alien craft, or something stranger still? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because the truth, as always, isn't just out there, it's underwater. Stay blessed and stay curious.